A couple of years ago, I made a video talking about the new AP5 and how I felt it was grossly overpriced. Now, many people responded in a very hostile manner to what I was saying because I was calling something out that I thought was ridiculous. Now, when the AP5 launched at $3,500, I was like, there's no way I'm going to get one. That's just insane. These are Turkish made clones of an H&K. Now, sure, they're made on real H&K tooling. H&K sends out reps, or used to send out representatives to ensure that everything was still up to snuff. They are license-built copies. That's great. Here's the issue. They're not actually technically H&K. So when I first saw the ad from Century Arms International come out, I was elated. I figured, okay, cool, Century's going to put out an affordable MP5 clone. Awesome, terrific. I'll be able to get one in, I'll be able to review it, I'll be able to tell you guys what I think about it. Ultimately, it would fill that niche of some type of pistol caliber carbine that I don't currently have in my collection. Well, fast forward a little bit. The prices begin to fall. Fast. They begin to get into the $3,000 range, then sub $3,000, $2,700 to $2,800 specials. Then they began to fall into the mid $1,500 range, the $1,300 range. And then Classic Firearms even had some promotions where they were a little less than that. So I was very suspect of what was going to happen next for the prices on these. I kind of figured, well, maybe they've kind of bottomed out, but it turns out they haven't. And now they're beginning to fall into the price range that I was hoping Century would bring them to market at when they first launched. Because in the past, Century was known for cobbling together some really neat semi-auto range toys, from Uzis to Sterling submachine guns, and they were really, really affordable back in the day. And I was on the tail end of when Century was doing a lot of that when I first started getting into the firearms world. And now, today, the incredible American firearms company, Palmetto State Armory, has announced that they are running a special on AP5s for $916 shipped. So for those of you who spent the $3,500, those of you who got really offended in that initial AP5 video, I would love for you to comment on this video. Do you feel like you were had? Really, because I warned people at the time. The whole objective of my channel, in many cases, one of the big things I focus on here is getting good value for your money. And at the time, I looked at this and I saw that there was no value in this. That by the time you went to resell this, if you had to for any reason, there was no way you were going to get anywhere near your money out of it. Now, very rarely will I say that firearms are an investment piece. Unfortunately, most depreciate very heavily with use, especially if they're a modern incarnation or a modern firearm. If you buy something that's like a proper military antique or a proper antique or maybe a high-end Italian shotgun, it might hold its value, okay? But you need to do your due diligence in that, because even then, things go in waves. Suddenly something might be really, really desirable and collectible one year, and then the next year it's not. And the AP5 is one such example. So if you're going to go out and spend tons of money on a classic firearm, you really have to assess that there is some risk here. I get it if it's something you had to have at the time and you're still keeping it in your collection. I would recommend that, because at this point you are left holding the bag, which is exactly what I warned initially when I first made that original AP5 video. And I hope that those pistols have been chucking along fine for those of you who bought them. I imagine that they are quite reliable based on being made in Turkey, being made by original H&K machines and by technicians who know what they're doing. But they're not worth it, because those firearms are literally being made for pennies on the dollar. And I get it, there's a lot of other costs associated with bringing them to the States, getting them serialized and all that, and then pushing them out and marketing them, but they're not worth $3 grand. Thanks for watching.